Have you ever wondered what it'd be like to be an heir of a historic home, historic property, of a house like this, Dromana House and Gardens? This house sits perched way above the Blackwater River in County Waterford, Ireland. Barbara Villiers-Stuart Grubb, that's a long name. She's a 26th generation to live here at Dromana. So as heir to Dromana, does Barbara Grubb sit around and drink champagne all day? Does she have a butler? What kind of life does she lead? Well, I spent some time at Dromana following her around, and I'm going to show you exactly what her and her husband Nicholas Grubb get up to every day.
Dromana was put in a very good defensive location, and that's where we are, on the bend of the river. And if you just swing your eyes up to the Knockmill Down Mountains under the cloud, and then this house here is Turin House, the home of the Jemison family.
Oh yes.
Whiskey Hill up there is Cappoquin House, which is the home of the Keane family.
Oh yes, we went there.
Hey, I think I'm pointing out to you, just within your vision here, two fairly major houses and a third one here and another one. And on this river, between the estuary, between the source in Kerry and the estuary, which is 12 miles south of here, into the Bay of Youghal, there are still 126 houses of significance, which is a very rich heritage for a very little island. And now that doesn't necessarily mean they're all big houses. Some of them would have been, thatched houses, whatever, but they are still of interest from a heritage point of view. So the family go back to Garaldini's of Italy, and then they morph into Fitzgerald, son of Gerald, here. And so in 1215, King John granted the custody of the modern-day counties of Cork and Waterford to Thomas FitzAnthony, who was Seneschal of Ireland. And his daughter Marjorie married into the family here, and that is our Irish beginnings. And as Fitzgeralds, we are the junior branch of the Fitzgerald family. The senior branch, of course, as you would know, would be at Glyn, and the townhouse would be Castletown, and Leinster House, of course, and Carton. So this is a 1400 tower house, which prior to that there was a castle burnt in 1200. Little we know of that. This tower house was fought over for 7 years in the 1640 rebellions, left in a ruinous state, and after that time the family decided to build what they called a more commodious house going east-west. That was a Jacobean house, a low house with dormer windows. And then in the late 1700s they built on the Georgian block, and that's the bow of what was the ballroom. That room, as I said before, was 22 yards from side to side, so it wasn't a small room. When they built on the Georgian block, they rose the roof of this to balance that, because this was a low house, as I said, and then the Georgian block was knocked in the early 60s. So we're left with this, which is quite enough. Saying in the family, if all else fails, stay living on the rock. And as I absolutely loathe camping, we're doing our best to keep the house standing. So it sort of washes its face. Shall we go in? So 3 times we had, as I said, a female heiress. The line was constant, and we go back, as I said, we can trace ourselves back to 1215, as you can see there on the boards. And I'm the 26th generation to live here as a family, and my son is going to be the 27th, and 28th is hatching. And it's a boy. Not that would make any difference either. We're very strong female.
Barbara, you wear so many hats here at Dromana. Which one do you like the best?
My straw one.
Oh, and by the way, Barbara also cooks and bakes and caters to groups at Dromana. I caught up with Barbara on another day. She was in her polytunnel, stuck in the soil planting tomato plants that she'd started from seed. Yep, she's also a farmer. She and Nicholas have chickens, and they grow their own plants. They start plants from seed, and they propagate. And I have to tell you, I was really impressed with her growing tomatoes method. She uses 2-liter bottles, turns them upside down, and waters every few days.
But look at that. And of course, when you cut a briar, it thinks it's being pruned to grow faster. Another one. I mean, look at that. Terrific. Indecent. Oh gosh, look, decorum is flowering there. Do you see that? Just underneath this cornice, whatever it is. Look at that. It's the first time I've seen it flower there. Just go up and have a look at the flower if I can.
Going in.
and be scented. It's worth going in for. It's a nice thing.
It's good scent.
Should
I'll bring
be
a piece
scented.
out.
Very delicate scent. Can you smell it?
Very, very, very delicate.
Very delicate.
It's not, and then you've got the Chilean firebush beside us as well.
Which is wonderful.
There, isn't it nice? You must smell it, Kelly, it's lovely. Just very, very, very delicate.
In fact, Barbara loves gardening. She's passionate about it. And I caught her this one day just as a storm was coming in, thunder, lightning, and she's out gardening. We're going to try and catch up with Nicholas, who's on a tour of the garden with a group.
Our only piece of garden furniture, and it's one of the pinnacles, the original cast iron pinnacles off the Hindu Gothic bridge. And what you have on the Hindu Gothic bridge now, which you came under, are made of fiberglass. Because the county council were terrified they'd let those tumble off into the mash, and the father-in-law recovered bits of them, and I made up one there. And so it makes a lovely garden ornament with a bit of history. Because if that fell on someone's head, they'd know all about it. That's Empress Wu. That one.
I don't mind up the stairs, coming down. I got like
Can grow very, very right. But this here is Tetrapanic papyrifica, which makes it an unusual plant. That's there, and then of course you have the famous Gunner and the Cracker, which is now a leaf, apparently. But we did never spread by sea. 50,000 salmon being caught a year. It's gone down a little bit now. Last year it was 2,500. 1%. 1%. And any of you want to know, I've written a paper on it about, and if you just put Nicholas Grubb and salmon into Google, you'll see it'll all come up. It's a quite long paper going into exactly how it can all be solved as part of our climate response, and a whole lot more. But it would take me too long to tell you, because I'd be hammered now by Barbara, because we need to be getting back.
And if all that's not enough, they also manage 2 self-catering accommodations at Dromana House. This is just one of these self-catering accommodations, and let me tell you, the views are amazing. You see right over the Blackwater River, you've got your own private terrace, and the sunsets are amazing. I mean, absolutely spectacular. So no, as heir to Dromana, Barbara does not sit around and drink champagne, nor does she have a butler. In fact, it's just her and Nicholas. They run it all. Yep, all by themselves. They've only got help 1 day a week. Somebody comes in to help clean, but that's it. And I think they're an absolutely amazing team.
This is a Dromana. It's called Dromana 800, registered with the Royal Horticultural Society by Seamus O'Brien, who's the curator of Kilmacurra Botanical Garden, the Irish Botanical Gardens, and he very kindly did the registration for us. You know, things don't have to be perfect to be enjoyable. You can have straight lines everywhere, or you can have